Dear learners, I am Christina Georgy, your academic counselor for the course code BEGG-172, which is titled Language and Linguistics. As per the requests of a few of our learners, I'll be recording this session. Before moving further, let me remind you that this is a specific session specially dedicated to the BEGG course code. Hence, all the aspects discussed in this session will be solely based on or limited to the prescribed syllabus and study material for BEGG 172. Alright. So, in this particular session, we'll discuss how to prepare effectively for your soon approaching TEE. In the sense, the very first step towards your TE preparation should be your familiarity with the question pattern. How could you be familiar with the question pattern? For that matter, you need to be aware of the previous question papers. Dear learners, there are plenty of previous question papers available. For your ease and convenience, today I'll share screen with you and we'll discuss some of the important aspects to take care of with respect to the very latest TEE question paper for BEGG 172. I'm referring to the December 2022 TEE question paper. So in this particular session, we will discuss how you should write the answers by discussing in detail the questions and the relevant answers to those questions with respect to the December 2022 TEE. So now I'll share screen with you. Is my screen visible? Do you see the question paper on screen? Yeah, thank you so much. So right now you're viewing the December 2022 question paper for language and linguistics. The very first aspect that I would like to emphasize on is regarding the course code and course title. Dear learners, I know that you are first year students and this will be your first TEE attempt. That is, this would be your first time attempting a TEE. For that matter, there are certain things that you need to be aware of. Firstly, make sure that you know your right program code. You could be students of BAEGH, BAPAH, BAHIH, BASOH, BAPSH and many more. So please be aware of your respective program code. Apart from that, within a particular program, you would have several course codes to study. For example, BEGG 172 is your course code with respect to this particular paper in discussion. And the course title is Language and Linguistics. Similarly, there is this common paper that you all have to study in your first year, which is called English Communication Skills. With respect to that paper, the course code is BEGAE1A2 and the course title is English Communication Skills. I understand that these course codes could be confusing, but be sure that you know your course codes thoroughly. There is another smart way of handling course codes and course titles. That is, before you move into your exam halls, that is at your respective study centers, you need to carry with you your admit card and your identity card with respect to IGNOU. So within your admit card, all your respective course codes will be mentioned. So I want you to know that once you receive your question paper, make sure that you have received the correct course code. I mean the correct question paper. How do you identify whether you have got the correct question paper? You will check for the course code and course title. See if it matches with the one mentioned in your admit card. Only then should you actually start reading the question paper. That reminds me, that is, once you receive the question paper, make sure that you see all the pages are printed. That is, it will be written on the top left side of your question paper just like the way you see on screen. So make sure all the pages are printed, and I'm sure you're aware that you'll be writing your exams at your respective study centers and not at your RC unless you've chosen a different study center. So please be aware of all the things to be taken care of before you start writing the exam. Right now we'll focus our attention towards this particular question paper. Alright? Yes. So you should be having the idea that this is a 100 marks paper. Very often students get confused regarding the mark weightage of this particular paper, because the other paper on English, that is the communication skills paper, is for 50 marks. We'll discuss this question pattern and previous questions of BEGG-172 in our next session. Alright. Now, as this is a 100 marks paper, you have around 3 hours to complete this paper. Dear learners, being your academic counselor, my humble suggestion is not to panic. You have enough and more time to complete the answer sheet unless you waste time unwantedly. Okay? Please calm down, relax, and things will go fine if you are prepared. In the sense, there are some ways and means to prepare smartly for this particular paper. Remember, I am mentioning regarding only this particular paper, BEGG-172. We'll discuss the most important topics, or rather the most important questions to be aware of in our next session. Right now, let's look at the December 2022 question paper. Dear learners, the purpose of looking into this question paper in detail is to make you familiar with the question pattern and also to help you understand how questions are being asked with respect to this course code. This will also give you an idea regarding the most frequently asked questions with respect to BEGG-172. Now, another information that I'd like to convey is, when you receive your question paper, make sure that you read the instruction given in your question paper correctly. That is, may that be for BEGG-182 or BEGG-172, please make sure that you read and understand the instructions correctly. You never know, maybe the question pattern could change. That is, we are discussing based on the very latest question pattern that is available to us. Nevertheless, make sure that you read and understand. There could be changes. Most probably there wouldn't be. Still, please be prepared. So here it says, this question paper consists of 2 sections. Both sections are compulsory. So once you read this, do not panic in the sense some students would be of the idea that, oh, I don't have options. Should I write all the questions? Of course not. They have said there are 2 sections and you need to write answers from 2 sections. That is section A and section B. Within these sections, you will get options. That is how the question paper is structured. Now, let's have a look into section A. See, there is also an instruction provided. Attempt any 2 questions in about 150 to 200 words each. So, you just have to attempt 2 questions. So, how many questions are provided? There are 4 questions in total. I can understand that you are not able to view the 4th question at the moment, but I will show you soon. Okay, so under section A, there are 4 questions given, out of which you don't have to write all the questions, but just 2 questions. 2 out of 4. Regarding the question type, this is a short essay question. I would say short essay because each question carries 10 marks. You must be used to writing 20 mark long essays. With respect to this paper section A, you just have to write for 10 marks. Remember, there is this word count specified. Whenever there is a word count specified, please make sure that you take a note of it. My humble suggestion is not to fall below the word count not to fall below the word count mentioned. That is, you can write above 200 but not less than 150. Alright, and as there are just 2 questions, you need to write uniformly, in the sense, if you write 250 for one and 150 for another one, that wouldn't be appropriate. There is no such law or rule. Nevertheless, it wouldn't be a very ideal way of writing. Now comes the common questions that hundreds of students ask me. Ma'am, what about the length? See, there is this misconception regarding the length of the answer. Let me remind you that it is the content that matters. Despite the length, if you have not written the relevant points, you wouldn't score well. But that doesn't mean that if you just wrote 100 marks with all the precise points, you will score full. Of course not. You should be sensible enough to have the appropriate length, provided you have written all the relevant points. For that matter, you need to write around 200 words, which would be around 2 to 2.5 pages in your answer booklet. I'm not very sure whether you are aware of this. You would not be provided individual answer sheets. In the sense, you would be provided with answer booklet. Did you know about this? Were you familiar with answer booklet? Regarding the answer booklet, you have enough and more pages in your answer booklet. In the sense, you have around 26 pages to write. 27th page is for rough work, and you have the 28th page which has instructions written on it. So you have around 25 pages, which is more than enough for your successful completion of this paper. So never ever panic or be tensed regarding the pages available. You wouldn't be provided with any additional sheets, that's the fact. Nevertheless, you would be okay, unless you don't cut off answers or leave pages blank unnecessarily. So please make sure that you are prepared by taking care of all these necessities. Even the simple aspects like the choice of pen and your handwriting could make a lot of difference. Please be prepared. So before discussing the questions and answers, let me actually show you section B. So this is section B. Section B includes questions 5 to 11. Okay. So there are basically 7 questions in section 5, out of which you just have to choose 4. 4 out of 7. But here the difference is that these are long essay questions. In the sense, you have 20 marks allotted to each of these questions. Alright. So the word count mentioned is around 400 to 450 words. So never write short of 400 pages, even if you exceed 450 pages, but try to maintain uniformity. You will have to write 4 essays. What about the length? That would be a probable question in mind. Long essay, 5 pages maybe. Nevertheless, let me remind you that it is the content that matters, not the page count. Okay, an average of 5 pages for 4 essays would actually take around 20 pages in your answer booklet. You just have to attempt 2 questions from section A. 2.5 into 2, 5. 20 plus 5, 25 pages. You would be able to complete your answers within the pages allotted in the booklet. Please do not write using bullet points. You are expected to write in paragraphs. Alright, and read the instructions given thoroughly. You have enough and more time. Make sure that you do not leave any questions unanswered unless those are left as choices. Okay, so these are the basic stuff that you need to keep in mind while attempting your examination. we haven't discussed these questions and their answers in detail. That we'll do as of a separate session. So I hope I have cleared most of your doubts.